Joining us now is Jeffery Miles. He is the Senior Director of Early Childhood at the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. Jeffery, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Great to have you with us. So tell us about the mission of the United Way Center for Early Childhood, and then your specific role, what you do to help provide for our children here in the local area.
Yeah, no, again, I'm a Senior Director at United Way for Southeastern Michigan. I oversee all of our early childhood work, and our goal is really to create access to affordable, high-quality childcare. We work with parents and providers on both sides of the ledger there to make sure that the programs and systems that we're designing and operating within are really set up to serve parents. And I'm a father myself. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we've seen firsthand the disruption that the pandemic has caused for childcare. And so, we understand these are deeply personal decisions that folks have to make right now. And so our goal is to make sure that the parents have all the information they need to make informed decisions about childcare settings for their children.
We're joined by Jeffery Miles, Senior Director of Early Childhood at the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. You can learn more information by going to liveunitedsem.org. And so Jeff, what are some of those initiatives that are currently in place to provide better access or higher quality access to early child care services for families here in Southeastern Michigan?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we've been busy over the pandemic. We have designed a new platform called connectforcarekids.org, and that's a one-stop shop for parents that has program information on Head Start, Early Head Start, the state's 4-year-old preschool program, the Great Start to Readiness program, the one the governor's really been touting and working hard to expand. We also have literacy resources, developmental screenings, and all sorts of resources for parents there. In Wayne County, you can actually do your eligibility search, determine which programs you are eligible for, find locations, and take that first step in enrollment. And that is something we really hope to expand to Oakland County soon. But for families in Oakland County looking for care today, you can go to greatstarttoquality.org or call us at 877-614-7328. And a trained navigator at our partner, Oakland Family Services, can work with you directly about your options. If you can't remember all of that, you can always call 211. They will get you squared away and connected to our team, as well as other great resources like tax prep. And when we think about the child tax credit that's come down, that could be up to $300 a month per child for families. But to your point, we're not trying to just connect families to any program, and we work very heavily on the other side to make sure that those are quality settings. And so we're a partner of the Michigan Department of Education. We are an early childhood support network for a 10-county region down here in southeastern Michigan. We provide coaching and consulting directly to providers. We work with them to help understand where they're at relative to the state's quality rating system, and then create individual plans to help them move up that system. And that's very important as we think about the expansion of GSRP. You need to have at least a 3-star rating to participate in part of that. We're also one of the state's largest training networks. We have a group of partners called our early learning communities. And over the last year, we have taken all of our trainings online. We provided 700 training opportunities last year to over 9,000 attendees. These were providers and individuals that were so dedicated to creating quality environments for our children. They continue to engage in these types of programs throughout the pandemic.
We're joined by Jeffery Miles, the Senior Director of Early Childhood at the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. And so, Jeffery, you mentioned that as you're forwarding these families to these child care programs, you're not just trying to get them to any child care program, you're trying to help them find quality child care and early education programs. What does that look like? What does quality childcare and quality early childhood education programs look like, and how affordable across the board are those programs at this time for the general family, or at the very least, what steps can be taken to give better access to families to that quality care across the board?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. You have a lot in there, but quality can mean different things to different people. But I think one of the things that the pandemic has both highlighted, which is a positive, and slightly taken the focus away from the core business, is the economy, the economics of this. And it's incredibly important to have these places so as people return back to the workforce, that we have safe and stable places for children to go. But 90% of a child's brain is developed by age 3. And really, childcare providers are in the business of supporting that physical, cognitive, social, emotional development, something I know a lot of us are concerned about, as many of our children have been more isolated than we probably would have liked over the last 18 months. And so they are really focused on getting back to the business at hand, as well as implementing all of the new safety protocols that have been put in place. Our connectforcarekids.org platform has a set of questions that families can ask their provider to really assess the right fit for a family. And it's not one size fits all. Some prefer home-based providers, some want that larger center experience. And so it really is a personal decision, but there's a lot of resources for families out there. And again, all of our resources have that state rating on there, as well as other descriptions of the programs that we operate in. The good news is the Build Back Better Act is really poised to provide free public preschool for 3 and 4-year-olds. That is a huge step forward. It's going to create more options. It's going to expand eligibility for families. And for our families most in need, those are going to be completely free. They're also going to subsidize other childcare, capping the most that a family can pay at 7% of their total income. And again, for those families that have more need, they're going to really be able to benefit at no cost to that. So again, we're expanding the amount of seats available. We're making eligibility wider so more families can engage in it. And also the child tax credit has been expanded. And again, if you file your taxes and are eligible, that could be up to an additional $300 per month per child. And families are really free to spend that money as they see fit, whether on helping defray some of the child care cost or other needs that the family may have. So lots of good stuff in the bill.
We're joined by Jeffery Miles, Senior Director of Early Childhood at the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. Learn more information at liveunitedsem.org. And so as the Build Back Better agenda gets closer to passage and those additional funds for child care become closer to being accessible for parents across the United States. Here in the state of Michigan, their budget, we just spoke with Senator Rosemary Bayer about that previously, and their state budget also including more dollars for childhood education. How do those extra the extra influx of dollars into child care in the state of Michigan help to impact your work at the United Way of Southeastern Michigan and providing these services that connect these families with the quality child care that they so desperately need in many situations?
No, it's an unprecedented amount of money, over $700 million being made available to providers. And that goes live next week, November 8th, the Child Care Stabilization Grants launch. Providers can visit michigan.gov/childcare, or again, call that 877-614-7328 number. We are standing by to provide application assistance, reporting assistance, answer general questions, but this is really going to allow providers to recruit and retain staff through bonuses, make up for costs that they incurred during the pandemic, and bring new resources into the classrooms. So it is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for providers, and it's not insignificant amounts of money at the provider levels. When we look at the home providers, the base amount starts at $3,300. For center-based providers, that starts at $9,200, and both of those go up from there. So it is really an incredible investment. The state has worked so hard over the last several months to put in place an easy application, something that can really benefit providers by getting money directly into those programs.
So, Jeffrey, just a few more minutes with you today before we'll say goodbye. I want to give you some time to talk about Connect for Care Kids, a free centralized resource designed to make it easier and less overwhelming for families in Wayne County with young children to find and understand the options that are available for early childhood education and care. Tell us a little bit about Connect for Kids and where parents can get access to this information, this service.
Yeah, no, we talk to a lot of parents all the time, and we had a great partnership with the mayor's office in Detroit. And what we came up with was a couple of things that parents always came back to. Confusing eligibility requirements. So it's different for Head Start, GSRP for the state subsidy. So we were able to design a system that can ask a few questions, and with a very high likelihood, determine a family's eligibility for those programs. We can then use that information to help search for providers that meet those criteria. And so we're not giving you every option, we're giving you the ones where you're actually a very good and likely fit for that. And then we have the additional step of asking you for a little bit more information. None of your bank statements, none of your tax forms that are required for full enrollment, but enough to give that provider information that, again, you're a likely good fit. They call the parents right back and complete the enrollment process. Families can also reach out to those providers directly as we send them that information. And again, while we're only in Wayne County now, we are really hoping to expand this functionality regionally with other stakeholders in Oakland County, and just really think this is a great way to get information to parents so that they can make informed decisions.
We're joined by Jeffery Miles. He's the Senior Director of Early Childhood at the United Way of Southeastern Michigan. Learn more information on their website, liveunitedsem.org. Again, that is liveunitedsem.org. Jeffrey, just another couple minutes before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else at this moment that would be important for our families to know about the United Way's programs in place right now to provide them access to better or high-quality early childhood education and care systems across the state of Michigan?
Yeah, one of the things about high quality childcare is it doesn't just happen in the classroom, and it is really connecting families to an array of services. And so that is why we feel United Way is uniquely positioned. We have the power of our 211 system to make sure that families are also addressing utility needs, tax preparation needs, foreclosure and rental assistance programs. And so we're not just thinking bell to bell, but we're really trying to provide a holistic approach to family supports. I'd also just end with, childcare is a public good, and it's for too long been subsidized by those that can least afford it. And we've really got to think about the system top to bottom. And with the infusion of capital that we are seeing now, we have a real chance to make a sea change in the sector, build on the great work that is going on, and really address some of the gaps that the pandemic has highlighted. We've got to talk about wages. Build Back Better starts to address some of that, but we've really got to start to appreciate these providers and their teams as essential workers that they have been throughout the pandemic. We've got to think long term too. We've got to think about pipelines, the certification and degrees. We cannot continue to expand these programs unless we have enough qualified staff in the workforce. And so we're working hard here in Oakland County to put some of those programs in place, and we couldn't be happier about our partnership with everyone here in the county, and just really look forward to putting this money to good use and really honoring families, meeting them where they're at, and getting them access to the programs that they need.
Yeah, these dollars are going to be critical to these systems in the next several years, and those years give our leaders at the state and the federal level and at the local level as well that extra time to develop a system where these programs can be permanent and not just be temporary or a few years down the road with this funding. So, Jeffrey, we appreciate your time. Thank you for telling us more about all the work that you're doing at the United Way for Southeastern Michigan for our children and families.
Thank you again for having us.